The first sweet we're going to work on is something simple. We're going to do a donut. So if you want to make a donut, I start with just an oval, but kind of a fat oval. So it comes out on both sides and comes down pretty quickly, like that. Another way you can do it is by drawing the parentheses first. Like you're going to write something inside. Instead of doing that, I'm just connecting the two together. At the top part of the donut, because I want this to look like I'm looking at it from the side, not from straight up above. It needs to look like it's sitting on a shelf. My donut hole is going to be up higher, like that. So our donut looks a little more 3D, and then my icing can drip down the side like that. And if I want to do sprinkles, I'm going to save that for when I add details on the last day. I don't want to draw a bunch of gray sprinkles with my pencil line. That's not really something I need to practice, so I'm not worried about it. Another thing you can do using this same shape, but making it a little bit longer and thinner, is a chocolatey eclair. If you've ever had one of those, they're kind of like a donut, but they don't have a hole, and there's a lot of drizzled chocolate on top. Another shape that starts off with this kind of dome on top, or I can use parentheses, or I could just, again, kind of make it an oval. I made this one come up a little bit more because I'm going to turn this into a muffin. Now for the muffin, I need the bottom part. The bottom part is just two lines that come down, but I don't want to draw my line right here. I want to pull it in a little bit. And over here, I'm going to pull it in a little bit. Now, at the bottom, I don't want it to go straight across. It will not look 3D. We know the bottom is flat, but if you look at it from the side, it is a round shape. It is a cylinder. In order to draw a cylinder from the side, you can actually see my coffee mug is a cylinder. From the side view, is this a straight line? No, it is a curved line. It's rounded like that. So for my muffin, I'm going to make the bottom curved, almost like a smiley face. And I can make it look even more like a muffin if I'm to draw lines. And if it's like a chocolate chip or a blueberry muffin, you might have dots. So try some of these simple ones out first. When you're finished, put your pencil down and look up front. Okay, now moving on from the muffin, we're going to do a cupcake. And there's a couple different ways to do the cupcake. The bottom is exactly the same, but we start with the top. The top is a little bit more. The easy one to do is to draw a cloud first, one of those little puffy clouds, and then draw your lines underneath with a curve at the bottom. Oops, I should have made those go all the way down. If you want to get fancier, we can make a cupcake that looks like it has a whipped topping. Actually, I'm going to draw it over here. And I'm going to make those two parentheses again. How big I want my cupcake to be. I want it to be this big. draw your parentheses as wide as you want your cupcake to be. If you don't want it to be this wide, don't put them that wide apart. This is the size of my cupcake. I'm going to draw my bottom line, but instead of drawing my line on top, right after these parentheses come in a little, I'm going to draw a second, smaller set of parentheses. And I'm going to make one line kind of come down a little bit. On top, I'm going to make two C's. So one C here to the side, and the other C is going to face the same direction and connect. And usually I like to put a cherry right there where the C is. You don't have to put a cherry if you don't want. I just put a little cherry with a stem. And then the same thing at the bottom. One line in, across with lines down. And again, you can add sprinkles, but I'm not doing that because I don't want gray sprinkles. That's something for color for later. You could also turn this cupcake into a milkshake really easily. The only difference is the bottom. Instead of making the bottom wide, I'm going to make it a little thinner and have it come in. Now I could make this come all the way in for an ice cream cone, or before I get there, maybe right about here, I'll stop and draw my curved line. And to make it look like one of those fancy glasses, I'm going to put a circle and then two lines, almost like a half circle, curving the bottom. Looks like one of those really fancy glasses with lines coming down. You could even add a straw, which is two lines. And it could be a spoon, or if I draw a line like that, it'll look like a straw. So try out some cupcakes. If you want to try a milkshake out or an ice cream cone, you could do that too. And when you're finished, put your pencil down. Okay, now we're going to move on to cake. Cake starts out very similar to this same kind of circle oval shape. And that's actually, it has a name. It's called an ellipse. An ellipse is the top of a cylinder. So on the top, actually, you know what, I'm going to switch. If you run out of space, you can flip your practice paper over, and that's what I'm going to do right now, because I know I've got a lot more to draw. So I'm going to make an ellipse, which is just a thin oval, and it kind of gets pointy towards the ends. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want this oval to be too wide. The second step is to go all the way out to the very, very end, right where my line stops, and draw a line down. And however long I draw it will be how tall my cake is. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to go all the way out until I can't go out anymore. I'm going to get right at the end there and draw another line down. Now, same thing I showed you with the mug before. Because this is a cylinder, it has a rounded ellipse for the top, but at the bottom, it's also curved. If you're looking at it from the side, it's not totally flat. And the curves actually will match. So I'm going to make the same curve that I did here. I'm going to try and match it. And that is a cylinder. I can decorate it with frosting or rosettes. And if you want the frosting to look more 3D, I would do puffy line above and below and get rid of the middle line. There. I could do, let's see, loops. So try a cake out. Put your pencil down when you're done. Now you can have a cake that's just single, or if you want to make a really fancy many layered cake, you can build on this. So after you've drawn your first cake, so I'm going to draw another oval or another ellipse. I'm going to go all the way out to the ends, draw my lines down on either side, draw my curve at the bottom to form my cylinder. But instead of stopping there, I'm going to draw another ellipse around the first one. So I'm going to start at the very bottom of the cake and come up a little bit and draw a line. I'm going to pretend it's going all the way to the other side, and I'm going to draw a line right there. Okay, so go ahead and do this step first. When you're done, put your pencil down and look up front for the next step. Alright, now we're going to take this line and curve it around to meet the other line. So it's another ellipse, it's just a bigger ellipse. And then I'll go all the way out to the ends, draw my lines down, and curve it at the bottom. And now I have a 2-layer cake. If I want to make a 3-layer cake, I do the same thing. I'm going to come up a little bit, make a mark, turn those into a ellipse, draw my 2 lines down, and curve the bottom. And I can decorate it just like I did with my little cake. Okay, so finish your layer, do at least 2 layers. You could try a 3-layer cake if you want, and then decorate your cake. When you're finished, put your pencil down, look up front. Alright, so next, we've done a lot with circles and cylinders. Now we're going to work with triangular prisms and cubes, or rectangular prisms. So for the rectangular ones, I'm going to make a parallelogram first. So I have a line, like a sideways line, and I'm going to make 2 horizontal lines. On the other side, I need to make another sideways line that's the exact same as this one. They need to be parallel. So there's 2 sets of parallel lines, 2 going this direction and 2 going straight across. Then all you have to do is go to each corner and bring your line down. So that's one corner, there's another corner, bring it down the same amount, and then in the back is a little tricky. When you bring your line down, you don't want to bring it all the way down. You want it to be as long as this line, which means it's going to stop higher up than this line. You can see there's a difference in level. Because this cake isn't see-through, I'm not going to draw a line down here on this corner. I'm going to leave that one alone. So just the front 2 and the back corner. So make your parallelogram. Draw those 3 lines down. Remember, this one needs to stop early. And put your pencil down. Okay, next, I'm going to complete this. So from this line to this line, I'm going to draw another parallel line. should be parallel to this one. This line is going to come back because it's parallel to that line. And I'll have a birthday cake, one of those sheet cakes that you can make. And I can put some candles on it. Make some more, maybe some frosting. Okay, so go ahead and do that. One line here and one line there, and then decorate it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to triangular prisms. Triangular prisms start something similar to the rectangular one, where I'm going to start with a rectangle. So my rectangle is going to come up and long over and across. Then on top, because I want this to look like a slice of cake, I don't want to draw a whole rectangle at the top. I only want to draw a triangle. So it's going to come out to the side at an angle, really short, and then I'm going to draw a really long line that way. Now I can turn this into a pie slice or a cake slice. And if I want it to be cake, I'll probably have a couple layers and I could fill it in with different colors. We're just using pencil right now. But I could do icing along the back. You could also make it a little thinner. So if I make my rectangle thin, make my pie slice, and then on the back, I'll make like a pie crust. And if I want it to be something like maybe cherry pie, I might do some circles for the filling. Now, if you have a pie, I'm going to do a second line there, and a line all the way down. So it looks like the crust. If you have pie filling, something that's like fruit, you know that the middle piece, right at the tip, tends to kind of droop down. So I'm just erasing the tip of the pie and making it come down a little bit so it looks more natural. Okay, so try the rectangle and then the narrow triangle on top and turn it into cake or pie. Put your pencil down when you're done. Now you might have other sweets ideas from the ones that I showed you. With the extra space that's on your paper, you can use both front and back, draw some other sweets ideas that you might want to put in your display case.